Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Today we're going to continue the strategy implementation. Okay, by this the first topic is balanced scorecard approach. Okay, so overall the company should set both strategic and financial objectives. So this approach states that organization should focus on achieving strategic objectives like performance, customer satisfaction, innovation and profitability. Then the financial objectives, so which are a profit and profit growth only. Okay, based on this the balance scorecard is also provides a basis of to measure many companies performance which against the set objectives. So this company's strategic financial objective should be set both okay as a short term and long term objectives. For a long term objectives, what it has: profitability, productivity, competitive position, employee development, employee relation, technological leadership, public responsibility. Okay, so, and this, the long-term objective represent the result expected from the pursuing certain strategies. So, which usually from a 2 to 5 years. Okay. So, the qualities of our long-term objectives are: it should be acceptable, flexible, measurable, motivating, and it should be suitable, understandable, and achievable. Okay. And the next one is strategic formulation. Okay. Strategic formulation approaches. So this strategic formulation means strategic hierarchy, okay? So which is generic strategies, the strategic intent, strategic posture, logical instrumentalism, and a few more. So there are as many approaches to formulating the strategy as there are academicians researching on a business policy or a strategic management. So based on some well-known approaches are, the first one is a strategic hierarchy. Okay, so which means it is a very popular approach among the academicians. Every company should have a clear mission statement, which is usually reflective of the value system of the founders. Okay, for example, Johnson and Johnson. Okay, so they believe our first responsibility is to doctors, nurses, patients, to mothers, and all others who use our products and services. So in meetings, their needs everything we do must be of high quality. We must constantly strive to reduce our cost to minimize it. These are examples. Okay, what are their objectives like that? Okay, some of the major points from the business. Okay, some of the major points from the business philosophy of the founder of the electric in the industrial company limited are: the first one is the purpose of an enterprise is to contribute to society by supplying goods of high quality at low prices, so which is ample quantity. Okay, and then the second one is profit comes in a compensation for contribution to the society, and always direct your effort for mutual prosperity and existence. And finally the human unity, which are harmony and are dispensable for a job achievements. So a mission statement should lead to objectives and goals, so this objective of an organization which are generally towards achieving leaderships in a particular field. Okay, so based on this the market share, new market introduction, profits and goals set specific targets. These are such as attaining 50% market share or introduction of a certain number of new products. So by this the SWOT means strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. Okay. So by this analysis, this can help a firm develop a strategies to attain its goals. Okay. So this strategy should decide the organizational structure to carry out activities for the same. So the management control and information systems, MCIS, okay, so which help managers to control and review the performance of their organization with regard to mission, objectives and goals. Okay, and the second approach is shotgun strategy versus rifle strategies. So, when a company faces a problem of starting a new business, it has two options. Okay, it can either define the target market, understand its needs, and develop products, so which according to their taste, and or develop a good products as defined by the technologists of a company and make them available in so the market, so that whoever likes them can buy them. So the first option is referred as a referral strategy, because what they told define the target market, so it should understand the needs and develop the products of the customer taste. Also based on this is the first one of a rebel strategy. So the second approach is called a shotgun approach. So shotgun means They will develop good products and define technologies, so make them available to the markets. So who like them they can buy. So okay, there are two. Shortcut strategy means I will produce this. If anyone wish, they can buy. For refill strategy, they will research the customer satisfaction. After that only they will produce the products based on their satisfaction. Okay, the third one is street smart planning versus formal planning. Okay, so the formal planning, so which means this is often criticized by a street smart entrepreneurs as a slow and impractical. So by this, they consider, for example, a case for an offering 1% discount for a slightly damaged products to a clear stock. So an MBA, because of his the training, would subject this problem to such an analyst that by the time he came to the decision, so the competitor would have given a 1% discount on his first fresh stock and they clinched the deal. So this Parley chief, the Ramesh, is often described as a street smart. So these cases illustrate the double collab, means the unique industrial relationship problems, okay, which are the launch of a double. Okay, so based on this, the problems could be have been further compounded by the fact that having spent large sum of money on advertising, so and the stimulating demand for a product, so the company would have been unable to make the product available at a retail outlets. Okay, and the fourth one is intuitive planning versus and analytical planning. So this is generally professional managers, so by virtue of their education and training, so believe in the strength of a logic and are reluctant to give up their implicit faith in logic even when they reach senior level where strategic and entrepreneurial decisions are required. In many such cases, the data is scarcity and ultimate decisions which has to be arrived at by largely using intuitions. Okay, and then fifth one is generic strategy. So this is based on Porter. We already seen the what is generic price strategy. Okay, so this is developed by Porter 1980. So this thesis which stated the firm's profitability was determined by the characteristics of the industry. So it was in the firm's position within the using its own framework. Okay, to analyze the industry structure, and Porter developed three strategies. The first one overall cost leadership, okay, and second one differentiation, third one focus. So based on this, any other strategy which is followed by the firms could be classified as a get things stuck in the middles. Okay, excuse me. And the next strategy means strategic intent. Okay, sixth one. So this is Hamel and Prahalad. So which is turn they turn much recent thinking, which is upside down by asserting that the real function of a company strategy in 1989. Okay, which is not to match its resources. So with its opportunities, but to set goals which stretch in a companies beyond the most managers believe is possible. Because the example says, okay, so, of course, the ambitious strategic intent should be backed by the active management process, so which includes focusing on organization, attention on the essence of a meaning, and motivating people by communicating the value of the target. So, which is a living room of individual and team contributions, and sustaining enthusiasm by providing new operational definitions as a circumstances change and using the intent consistently to guide the resource allocations. So by this, while strategic intent is clear about the end, it is flexible with the regard to the means and leaves the room for improvisation. Okay, so based on this, the achieving strategic intent require enormous creativity. So with regard to the means, so it also creates an extreme misfit between the resources and ambitious. So the top management then challenges the organization to close the gap between the two by systematically building a new advantages. So the essence of a strategy lies in a creating tomorrow's advantage faster than a competitors mimic the ones the organization possesses today. Okay, and the next one is strategic posture. Sorry, it has gone. So strategic posture. So these are three basic posture. So which are exhibited by companies and coping with the changing environment. Okay. So based on this, it has a three posture: proactive and crisis management strategy, reactive strategy. So proactive strategy means anticipate adapting the change. Okay, and crisis management means they working out an escape route after the crisis occurs. Okay, they will escape after that. So and reactive strategy means they will followed by those who simply offer resistance to any change and in process get wiped out. How the problem should be wiped out. Okay, so it has a proactive, crisis, and reactive. Okay, postures. And the eighth one is logical instrumentalism. So this is basically means formulating strategies through a one step at a time process. So because a company may not have a clear mission, as in the case of the strategic hierarchy method. So it may have some idea about a growth and target, but not about the route to be taken. So therefore, it will take into consideration its past history to guide it about the what course of action to take and what to avoid. So after studying its past experiences at a given point of a time, the company will decide the next logical steps. Okay, so based on this, all subsequent decisions too will be taken in a similar manner. So which is additionally the choice of a new strategy will also depend upon the company's current strength, weakness, resources. As such a company will not think beyond its current capabilities. By the logical incrementalism is a probably the most commonly adapted approach by the companies. And the next one is a number of companies, so which do not have strategic intent or a vision. So they staff off the as small companies, and as they generate sufficient profits and reserves. So they start looking for the next set of opportunities for growth. They focus on a backward integration or a forward integration. So which is the next logical step to be taken for a growth. So similarly, the entry into related areas are logical steps. Okay, and the next one is proactive strategies versus creative strategies. So this proactive strategy means changing in accordance with the change anticipated. So however the creative approach means it enables a company to engineer changes to suit itself. So because the first approach is like wearing a sweater to protect oneself from the cold. Okay, and the second approach means it is somewhat similar to using the heater to warm up the room. Okay, so the creative approach breaks through the constraints and barriers, creates an environment that suit the company's requirements. So this creative approach is also different from the incremental approach, so which is based on a logical, which is rooted in a past and constrained by current firm capabilities. So this approach goes beyond the boundaries to help multiple alternatives and comes up with the totally new products and develop entirely new products. Okay, so this often quoted about a two shoe salesman. Okay, so who visited some underdeveloped country to explore the market, so potentially illustrates these two approaches. So one salesman came back saying that there was no potential as no one wore shoes in that country, while the other felt that there was a huge potential for the same region. So these Steve Jobs personal computer and the same, these are the examples. Okay, and the next one is approach 10, random walk. So this walk says means steps taken in the random directions without much analysis or a evaluation. So the company or entrepreneur grabs whatever comes in their way. So this is survival is the primary driving force that can make individual take a number of random steps in the hope that one of them will click someday. Okay, and finally approach number 11, strategy as a revolution. So this according to Hamel 1996. Okay, the strategy making process usually tends to be reductionist, so which is based on a simple rules and heuristics. So it works from the present forward, not from the future back. So this implicitly assuming whatever evidence to the contrary. that the future will be more or less like a present. So the organizational pyramid is a pyramid of experience, but the experience is valuable only the extent that the future is like the past. So in industry after industry, the terrain is changing so fast that experience is becoming irrelevant and even dangerous. So there are basically three types of companies. Okay, the first one is the rule makers, the market leaders who have shaped the industry, IBM and Sony. And second one, rule takers, so the companies that pay homage to industrial laws like Fujits and like that. Okay, and third one is the revolutionaries, which is the companies that overturn the industrialist orders. So these are the approaches we have seen already. And next one is a strategy formulation tools. Okay, strategy formulation tools. So these tools mainly basically the first one is a SWOT analysis. So which means, it means the SWOT. Okay, SWOT, which means strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. Okay, so by this SWOT analyzing external environment which helps the threats, opportunities and the company like to face. So further an internal environment, so in the internal environment which must be carried out, identify the strengths and weakness of the company. Okay, so the strengths and weakness are helpful for the company, opportunities, threats, sorry, strength and opportunities are helpful for the company, and threats and weakness are harmful for the companies. So these must be cooperated by the identified strength and weakness of the light of opportunities and that are threats faced in an external environment. So this tool can be used for a corporate SBU functional operations. So it is important to note here that while using the tool, options must be ranked based on their net benefit to the company. So the top ranking options which must be chosen, but where there are multiple strategic options, all of them must be evaluated before a choice is made. Okay, so the TOWS matrix is helpful for generating strategic options. So the blend of external factors, so with the internal factors, strengths, weakness, so which must be analyzed in light of the vision, mission, goals of the company and not independent of them. So it must also be noted that TOWS matrix as a tool is a supplementary rather than a key decision making tool. So which is unless there is a clear conviction about these disparate external and internal factors. So based on this, the support FMCG company that we have been referring to wants to drop a product line, so and invest in another category. So by this, a tool that could be applied include a product life cycle and the ones on a portfolio planning to understand the various phases of the decisions. So which including the size of the future investment in a greater details. Okay, and second is a product life cycle. So this helps to manage to map the stage that the product is in and understand how the strategy under pursue it. So which would help to position the strategic unit. So the company can decide whether it needs to innovate or reposition the PLC of its products by relaunching it or by any other means. Okay, in our opinion, the repositioning of a PLC has been very successful because it's still debated by many markets, analysts, and different views. And the indifference here is that on strategy formulation exercise is not in a simple because the PLC but requires the use of a combination of tools and techniques. And the next one is portfolio, market, and project strategy. So these techniques include the SPACE. Okay, SPACE means strategic position and action evaluation matrix. So which is in a BCG matrix. So this GE matrix, ANF matrix, McKinsey's 7S models and PMIS, profit impact of market shares. So this profit business strategies are more relevant to SBU level or a corporate level. Okay, so this strategy when a firm wants to invest and diverse a business in a portfolio, so which increase its market share and utilize excess cash generated. So where there are inadequate opportunities to upload investment and the portfolio approach is deployed. So in this situation, either because of the market of the competition, the firm is to initiate strategic moves or which involves an in-depth analysis of the situations and the decision making at the top level management. This has to have an involvement from both the top level and operation level management for the effectiveness. So the decision could be compulsive at the SBU and product market level but may have a lesser priority for a top management. Hence, such sensitivities must be understood by strategy analysts to initiate appropriate actions. Okay, so after this acquisition, the company decided to foray into a food business in a big way. So it may be interesting to note here that a single framework or a technique would not be adequate. So there is a need to apply combination of tools. So however, it is important to have a prime technique along with the other complementary techniques and tools while facilitating strategy formulation decisions. Okay, and the next one is a techniques of strategy formulation. So under this, the first technique is a scenario. So this scenario generation is one of the methods which strategic planners have found useful for the interpretation of the fluids. So which rapidly changing business environment with an uncertain futures. So this scenario constitute an effective device for sensing, interpreting and organizing and bringing to bear diverse informations about the future in a planning and strategic decision planning making. So this is simply stated, the scenarios may be regarded as stories about the futures. So but more precisely speaking, these are descriptions of a alternative futures of the macro environment. So the primary purpose of a scenario generation is to delimit the range of uncertainties in the most critical factors in an environment. So however, this probability estimates are hardly associated with the elements of the scenario. Hence, the scenario are said to be fuzzy. It's because too impressive and hard to apply. So also the scenario generation is an expensive process. There is no doubt that the scenario represents a significant departure from a traditional methods of forecasting like a single or multiple variable exploration and regression methods. Okay. And the next technique is gap analysis. So this analysis is a question and the strategic planners have to face the regard environmental forecasting, which is how far ahead they will look at, that is the time horizon for our forecasting before to respond strategically to a perceived environmental change in a future. So the strategic decision have to be taken well in advance. So it may be a matter of technology of a production which is envisaged by the planners. So thus for instance, it will take considerably longer period to create a production facility for a computer hardware than the production, so which is newly designed software. So technique which has been found useful in determining the time horizon for environmental forecasting is that gap analysis. So the application of the technique will be clear from the following diagram which depicts the typical situations. So it will be seen in a diagram that between a line A and line B. Okay. So once the time horizon for forecasting is determined and necessary, that objective data should be processed and then analyzed for making forecasts, which is taking into account the probabilities of occurrence and the risk involved. Okay, so one or more of the following forecasting techniques, so which may be adopted in this context. Okay, so the first one is unstructured inexpert opinion techniques such as a person. Okay, so excuse me. Okay. And then second one is structured inexpert opinion techniques. And third one is structured expert opinion techniques. Okay. So actually first one is unstructured inexpert, second structured inexpert, unstructured expert opinion, and the next one multivariant interaction analysis, and the next one is a mapping which include a relevance trees and morphology analysis, and next one is a theoretical limits envelopes which include methods such as a worst case analysis, high low limits estimation and sizing the calculations like that. Okay, and the next one is unstructured expert onion techniques, so such as a opinion. So what if the interview role playing use of a conscience panel and scenario generation, so which is the based on a forecasting technology change in a particularly rendered easier by the scenario generation. So by this the dynamic models, so which include historical analysis, which is a time lag and stochastic modeling and a single variable extrapolation. So these are the variants of the technique which include linear extrapolation, life cycle curves, power series expansion, exponential smoothing and others. Okay. And the next one is challenges faced for effective operation of a business. Okay, what are the challenges? So based on this, the practice of strategy formulation is ongoing exercise, so which is refined over the years. So during the process, the tools and techniques are validated and demonstrated by the way of successful deployment in an organization. So this is a true for different kinds of organization, which is a partnership firm, privately held companies, corporate bodies, government business, and not for the profit organization. So based on this, the strategy formulation has to be scientific. So we came across the many instances wherein the strategic management process has failed to deliver the required result for a competitive growth. So these failures in some cases is attributed to in the strategy formulation stages. Okay. So this obviously reflects the multiplicity and complexity of our challenges faced on this stage. So based on this, the following to capture such challenges. So challenges based on the first one is achieving shared vision. So this is the one of the major issues in strategy formulation. So there are instances where after choosing an appropriate strategy, the top management among themselves and across the organization which fails to achieve a synchronization of the vision and the strategic intent and hence the strategy for a way forward. Okay, so this leads to problems in implementation and in the obtainment of a commitment from the stakeholders. This is serious issue in making major decisions. Okay, for example, while vendoring and moves such as a major acquisition, sell off, or a divestiture, such instances are common. So in this process, there could be delay in pursuing the strategy, which may lead to value erosion. So to overcome such problems, which is creating a shared vision in the critical, a successful organization will have one. So which is building a confidence among the stakeholders and communicating objectively are critical for creating shared vision. So it not only creates a shared vision, but also philosophy of the oneness of a growth through commitment of efforts, energy for the benefits of a shareholders or a stakeholders. And the next one is inability of a partners to map a vision. Okay, so this of a partner to map a vision and agree on a strategy formulation. So this could be another issue, so which is especially in case of alliances, just ventures. So this venture capitalists and a group companies, though these partners have well defined areas of interest, when it comes to the nitty gritty of a strategy formulation, there could be divergence of a views because so in addition, there could be a possibly of a dominant partner having a big brother attitude because of the which strategy formulation process could be jeopard, jeopardized. Okay, so in case of the venture capitalist or active after as the strategy stage, so they may try to overplay the role because of the experience or elsewhere the lack of on the ground realities. So many times even debt fund providers, so which is drive strategic intent because of a certain contractual classes. Okay, so by this may loss of a control in making right decision in the interest of all the shareholders. And the third one is leadership and managerial bias, so which is imposing leaders and self-motivated managers are often causes of a dissonance at the strategy formulation stage. So to overcome the same, a leader's managerial bias needs to address effectively. A strong and active board is one which can balance this bias. So such an approach is possibly only with the large companies. Small and mid-sized companies have a problem in getting directors who could overpower this bias. So on the board of the companies, okay, it's based on this, the leaders who have tendency to follow a success of others must be engaged in the detailed operational situations, exposed in internal factors adequately so that the someone's success is not limited. So whenever the leaders have a problem with respect to the nuisance of a technical and functional perspectives, the adequate time must be allocated during the formation stages. So without the right perspective, if leaders are driving or driven any of the shareholders, the post decision correction process could be time consuming. So in addition, such moves may lead to a strategic lapse requiring the resources and efforts. Okay, and the fourth one is a managers over emphasizing tools and techniques. So this is another involves. So this is means the another issue involves in a managers over emphasizing tools and techniques. and losing the touch with the pulse of the markets or going in the wrong direction due to herd mentality. So sometimes they may be following the market without the understanding the internal factors, so which is leading to difficulty in a strategy formulation. So this is the most common issue when external agents or advisors are used to formulate the strategy. So many times invest bankers are enthusiastic and highly impressed with an idea which may result in a slip it at the input stage in strategy formulation. So there are a number of examples, especially in a major strategic decisions, which is a sell-off measures and diversification and funding. So this is more importantly the high brand value of such advisors over some clients who leave the decision process to the advisors. So instead of the taking an active roles. So the ability to manage the issue of a bias towards tools and techniques and find the right balance of our experiences. So which is intellect and deployment of a tools and techniques for a decision making is required. This can again be achieved by involving a senior board members and making committee responsible for a major strategic decision. So which is a committee can bridge the art and science of decision making for effective formulation of the strategies. Okay. And the next one is strategy formulation versus strategy implementation. The differences. Okay. See, the strategy formulation is which include planning, decision making, which is involved in a developing organization strategic goals and plans. Okay, but the implementation involves those means executing the strategic plan. So strategy formulation include they have to plan and decide decision making, goals and plans like that. They have to formulate. After that only the implementation. So after the formulation only they will implement. They the implementation. And the next one, this is placing the forces before the action. So forces before the action, it, strategy implementation is forces during the action. Okay. So and the strategy formulation is an entrepreneurial activity. So because of the strategic decision making, they have to decide. Okay, based on that they will entrepreneur activity. After decided only they will administrate and implement the task which they have given. So that it is an administrative task. Okay. And the strategy formulation emphasis on effectiveness. What are the effectiveness? And for this effectiveness go to the efficiency as a strategy implementation. Okay. And this strategy formulation is a rational process. Okay. This is a rational, that is operational process, strategy implementation. And strategy formulation which required the coordination of few individuals. Okay. And this implementation require coordination among many individuals, coordination of all the persons who are involved in the planning. Okay. And this strategy formulation requires a great deal of initiative and logical skills. And this implementation require motivational leadership traits. Okay. And the strategy formulation precedes strategy implementations, and this strategy implementation follows strategy formulations. So by this class is over. We'll see you all in the next class with the next unit. Take care. Thank you.